Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to Mindfulness Hour. Once a week, usually on Saturday morning here in Singapore. Have a 1 hour time together, so we spend the first 10 minutes kind of chatting about the topic, usually related to the meditation that we're going to do. Then we meditate for 40 minutes, and then the last 10 minutes we have a little bit of sharing and reflection about our time together. Today's meditation is the mountain meditation. So this is a meditation I don't do very often. I don't lead very often. And one of the reasons is that I find the mountain meditation is a meditation that is really supplemental to the main practice. And I think I've said in weeks gone by as well that the loving kindness and compassion meditations are also supplemental to the main practice, but I'd say that applies even more in this situation. That I think that loving kindness and compassion are quite applicable in daily life, and you can use some of those concepts, especially when you're feeling like you're too overwhelmed. There's too much going on in the moment. You're too upset, maybe specifically at another person, to be able to use your present moment awareness to help calm down some of those emotions. I find that compassion practice is really helpful, so quite applicable as well. So why do the mountain meditation at all? Why are we bringing into mountain meditation today? So mountain meditation is a reminder of impermanence, a reminder that a lot of things outside of you are outside of your control, and some of the things inside of you are also outside of your control. And the mountain meditation is a good reminder of that. And so I'd say this is also a meditation that can be used as supplemental to your practice, and to recognize that when it's useful for you to use it. I think some people find it useful for grounding. Some things about this meditation also that I kind of put it into the more advanced category is that it requires some visualization. And I'd say that visualization doesn't work for everyone, and it works for different people in different degrees. So for some people, this mountain meditation they find it really effective, they find it really resonates with them, whereas other people go, I can't visualize the mountain. I don't feel what I think I'm supposed to feel in this meditation. So this is maybe one of the reasons why we don't do it often. Why I don't do it often is that, one, it's really not part of my personal practice. I'd say the only time I really do mountain meditation personally is when I'm on a meditation retreat, and especially MBSR meditation retreats, because this is part of the MBSR retreat curriculum. So it's at one point during the day we'll do the mountain meditation. So I do think it's useful, but I also think that following the breath and learning, like if you have to choose one, right? If you've got one meditation you do in the week and you're going to spend 30 minutes doing it, I'd say the body scan and awareness of breath for me are very effective meditations, because during those meditations you also can find the same lessons of impermanence, lessons of what you have control of and what you don't have control of. That shows up a lot through distractions. And we also can observe how we're feeling inside of the body as well. So I think I've just spent the last 4 minutes or so saying why not to do the mountain meditation, which is exactly the meditation that we're doing today, which is kind of funny. So why do the mountain meditation is because it helps to bring these kind of things into mind explicitly. So you can remember the things that you do have control of and the things that you don't have control of. It kind of brings it in as an object lesson and reminds us that these these aren't things, that we are not controlled by things that are external to us, that we are in control of how we react. Maybe not completely, but to quite a large degree, to probably more of a degree than we realize. I know today's culture is one of, the word trigger is one that kind of cedes control over myself to someone else. I don't have control of myself because this thing happened, this situation happened, and so because of that, I heard these words. These words came out of someone's mouth, and they hit my ear, and I don't have. There's no space between stimulus and response. I find that I've got, instantly, I'm reacting to what's going on, and I think that this is really probably the main purpose of the mountain meditation, is for us to recognize that you are an entity of your own, that words coming from outside of you are sounds, right? Those are sounds that enter your ear, and they're, sounds it's just vibrations of air. It's neutral in and of itself. And of course there are certain sounds that are designed, let's say, to have a visceral reaction for you, right? One of them is like a baby crying. These are things that are pre-programmed inside of us, that have some kind of response that we're supposed to give as this thing happens, because that's what's natural inside of us. And when someone raises their voice, we have empathy. When we tend to mirror what kind of emotion that we see. Okay, these are natural human responses. So again, can we come towards ourselves without judgment and know that even though that I know in here that these things external to me are external to me, that I don't have to react to them. It doesn't mean that if I do react to them that I've failed completely, and that I should give myself a hard time. So one, external things don't have to have a control over you, that you can, especially with mindfulness, especially when you've learned to see emotions. I mean, a lot of us, if you've come here before, you know that we tend to do body scan, a lot of body scan on these days, on the 1 hour practice. And on body scan, you learn to find emotions, like where emotions come up. As we become more mindful, as we learn to identify the emotions, we can create a little bit more space between ourselves and the emotions, and start to witness those emotions, right? And seeing that emotion is happening inside of me, no matter what the external weather of life might be like today. And what is that external weather? Besides the things outside of us, did I get enough sleep last night? What's my general mood today? And seeing, lots of different weather out there to affect us as we are now. And so we have some choice inside of ourselves as to what we're going to do. And furthermore, one other little piece about the mountain meditation is that impermanence. Mountains may seem permanent, but a lot is changing all the time. And so this also is part of our practice and part of the mountain meditation. Okay, a little bit of meandering today in the intro talk. Welcome everybody. For mountain meditation, just to kind of assist in the visualization portion of the mountain meditation, would encourage you to sit up, because the way the meditation is led, it's designed that the visualization works more if you're sitting up and sitting up straight. So I would encourage you to bring your back away from the backrest, to sit up. And of course, it doesn't mean if you If you feel like you want to lie down, if sitting becomes uncomfortable for you, of course, by all means, do it. But just to let you know, the visualization that we do tends to go with a body that's sitting. So getting comfortable. Feeling into the body. Becoming aware of physical sensations. And beginning to sense into the support you have from your cushion or your chair. Paying attention to those actual sensations of contact. Where is it that the body is being touched by your chair or your cushion? Really taking notice. Noticing how the pressure may be different from one portion on your buttocks than another portion. Noticing where the feet are touching the floor, or if you're sitting cross-legged, maybe where your legs are touching your cushion or the mat or whatever it is you're sitting on today. We're finding a position of stability and poise. Upper body balanced over your hips and shoulders in a comfortable but alert posture. Hands on your lap or your knees. Arms hanging by their own weight. Stable and relaxed. Sensing into the body, feeling your feet, legs, pelvis, lower torso, upper torso, hands, arms, shoulders, neck, head, and whenever you're ready, allowing your eyes to close if they're not closed already, bringing awareness to the breath, the actual physical sensations of breathing, feeling each breath as it comes in and goes out. Letting the breath be just as it is, without trying to change it or regulate it in any way. allowing it to flow easily and naturally, with its own rhythm and pace, knowing you are breathing perfectly well right now. Nothing for you to do. Allowing the body to be still, and sitting with a sense of dignity. A sense of resolve. A sense of being complete, whole, in this very moment, with your posture reflecting this sense of wholeness. As you sit here, letting an image form in your mind's eye of the most magnificent or beautiful mountain you know, or have seen, or can imagine. Letting it gradually come into greater focus. And even if it doesn't come as a visual image, allowing the sense of this mountain and feeling its overall shape, its lofty peak or peaks high in the sky, the large base rooted in the bedrock of the Earth's crust, its steep or gently sloping sides, noticing how massive it is, how solid, how unmoving, how beautiful. Whether from afar or up close. Seeing if you can picture all the details of this mountain. Perhaps your mountain has snow blanketing its top, and trees reaching down to the base, or rugged granite sides. There may be streams and waterfalls cascading down the slopes. There may be one peak or a series of peaks, or with meadows and high lakes. observing it, noting its qualities. And when you feel ready, seeing if you can bring the mountain into your own body sitting here, so that your body and the mountain in your mind's eye become one. So that as you sit here, you share in the massiveness and the stillness and the majesty of the mountain. You become the mountain. Grounded in the sitting posture, your head becomes the lofty peak, supported by the rest of the body and affording a panoramic view. Your shoulders and arms, the sides of the mountain. Your buttocks and legs, the solid base. Rooted to your cushion or chair. Experiencing in your body a sense of uplift from deep within your pelvis and spine. With each breath, as you continue sitting, becoming a little more a breathing mountain, alive and vital, yet unwavering in your inner stillness, completely what you are, beyond words and thought, a centered, grounded, unmoving presence. As you sit here, becoming aware of the fact that as the sun travels across the sky, the light and shadows and colors are changing virtually moment by moment in the mountain stillness. And the surface teems with life and activity. Streams, melting snow, waterfalls, plants and wildlife. As the mountain sits, seeing and feeling how night follows day and day follows night. The bright, warming sun, followed by the cool night sky, studded with stars, and the gradual dawning of a new day. Through it all, the mountain just sits, experiencing change in each moment, constantly changing, yet always just being itself. It remains still as the seasons flow into one another, and the weather changes moment by moment and day by day. Calmness, abiding all change. In summer, there is no snow on the mountain, except perhaps for the very peaks, or in crags shielded from direct sunlight. In the fall, the mountain may wear a coat of brilliant fire colors. In winter, a blanket of snow and ice. In any season, it may find itself at times enshrouded in clouds or fog, or pelted by freezing rain. People may come to see the mountain and comment on how beautiful it is, or how it's not a good day to see the mountain, that it's too cloudy, or rainy, or foggy, or dark. None of this matters to the mountain, which remains at all times its essential self. Clouds may come and clouds may go. Tourists may like it or not. The mountain's magnificence and beauty are not changed one bit by whether people see it or not, seen or unseen, in sun or clouds, broiling or frigid, day or night. It just sits, being itself. At times, visited by violent storms, buffeted by snow and rain and winds of unthinkable magnitude. Through it all, the mountain sits. Spring comes. Trees leaf out. Flowers bloom in the high meadows and slopes. Birds sing in the trees once again. Streams overflow with the waters of melting snow. Through it all, the mountain continues to sit, unmoved by the weather, by what happens on its surface, by the world of appearances, remaining its essential self through the seasons, the changing weather, the activity ebbing and flowing on its surface. In the same way, as we sit in meditation, we can learn to experience the mountain. We can embody the same central, unwavering stillness and groundedness in the face of everything that changes in our own lives. Over seconds, over hours, over years. In our lives and in our meditation practice, we experience constantly the changing nature of the mind and the body and of the outer world. We have our own periods of light and darkness, activity and inactivity, our moments of color and our moments of drabness. It's true that we experience storms of varying intensity and violence in the outer world and in our own minds and bodies, buffeted by high winds, by cold and rain. We endure periods of darkness and pain, as well as moments of joy and uplift. Even our appearance constantly changes, experiencing a weather of its own. By becoming the mountain in our meditation practice, we can link up with its strength and stability and adopt them for our own. We can use its energies to support our energy to encounter each moment with mindfulness and equanimity and clarity. It may help us to see that our thoughts and feelings, our preoccupations, our emotional storms and crises, even the things that happen to us are very much like weather on the mountain. We tend to take it all so personally, but its strongest characteristic is impersonal. The weather of our own lives is not to be ignored or denied. It is to be encountered, honored, felt, known for what it is, and held in awareness. And in holding it in this way, we come to know a deeper silence and stillness and wisdom. Mountains have this to teach us and more if we can let them in. So, if you find you resonate in some way with the strength and stability of the mountain in your sitting, it may be helpful to use it from time to time in your meditation practice to remind you of what it means to sit mindfully, with resolve, and with wakefulness, in true stillness. So, in the time that remains, continuing to sustain the mountain meditation on your own in silence, moment by moment, until you hear the sound of the bell. close our period of formal practice with 3 rings of the bell. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for practicing with me. Thanks for being here with each other. Any feedback, questions, comments? How did today's practice go? Did you notice a difference between the beginning period of the meditation, the first, let's say 25 to 30 minutes when I was speaking most of the time? And did you notice what it was like when I wasn't speaking? What did you experience? Did you experience anything from that kind of first period? Did anything show up? Or just in general, what showed up? So maybe you felt, well, let me look at the chat and see how you felt. I think as I wait for more comments to come in. Caesar says, I'll say Caesar says, more distractions when you stayed quiet for me. And anyone else? Does anyone else have a similar experience, or is there something different? Oleg shares, wow, it's been 40 minutes. I completely lost my sense of time. This also can be happening. I guess what I wanted to comment is that I've kind of resonate with what Caesar says here, is that the mountain meditation, I kind of talk about stillness and calmness, and we talk about the weather patterns of the body and the weather patterns of the external environment. So a lot of things, this is my body has this effect, the external environment has this effect on me. The one thing that maybe we don't have as much awareness of is the storms inside of our heads. And I think that's really that last 10 to 15 minutes of silence is kind of designed for you to recognize the storms that are inside of your head, and for you to remember what we've just been practicing, right? What's just been covered in the mountain meditation is that you do not have to react to what's going on in your mind, and that you can continue to have stability even in those times when the mind starts to feel like there's a whirlwind of thought going inside. And I think that's really one of the main points of doing that, is just so that you can have that space for your mind to start moving, so that it's not occupied by, well, maybe it still is occupied by the visualization, but in that time, maybe there might be thoughts like, well, what am I supposed to do now? I'm still visualizing the same part of the mountain that I was. I can't. It's like maybe the visualization starts to fall apart, and what are the thoughts and the judgments that go around because of all of this? So that's Caesar says, I was trying to imagine the mountain all the time, right? And this also can be really challenging. So what in the context of that or anything else, what came up for you? Barbara shares, my image of the mountain kept changing. I welcomed it and accepted that my image was of a range of mountains. I live near 2 mountain ranges. Thanks, Barbara. And Caesar says, I could not really visualize it. Thanks for sharing. And Jean says, beginning, I felt a scene of strength and stability. During the silence, my mind wandered a bit more. Then I came back to the mountain. Sometimes the wandering was storms in my head, and I came back to the mountain. And Ren shares, yes, same like Caesar. Love the mountain meditation, brought a sense of confidence in me, and would love to repeat it more often. Thanks, Ren, for sharing. And I think this is the first time I've done this on a live practice in like maybe over a year. It's been a long time, so I will bring the mountain meditation in more, especially in these. There's no time in the normal weekday sessions that are only 30 minutes long. There's no time to really get into this meditation, so it's easier to get done in these hour-long sessions that we have on Saturdays. So we'll definitely. I mean, it's nice to have a little bit of variety sometimes. I like to do body scan because of just how beneficial it is for me, and so I'll recognize that as well. Other people find different meditations useful. John shares, it had been a while since I've done the mountain meditation. It works when someone guides me through it. I always imagine the thoughts in my head as storm clouds around the mountain, but I, like the mountain, am not moved by them. Thank you, John, for sharing. Robin shares, I pictured the mountains of Pennsylvania. Thanks for sharing. That's where I'm from, central Ohio, so at the foothills of the Appalachians. So I also kind of, well, no, I mean, it doesn't. I guess it doesn't matter. Right? I have in the past used. I think I'm more like Barbara in that the mountain that I use changes constantly. In fact, I think I tend to use an imaginary mountain more than a real one. That it's, that has high meadows and streams and lakes and all of this, and it's not one that I've actually seen. It's one that I've kind of created through the years of doing mountain meditation. Yeah, it seems this is also common. People are using imaginary mountains. Anything else? Going once, going twice. I always say, if you feel like if something's kind of gnawing on your mind and you're going, should I share it or should I not? Should I write it in the chat or should I not? Write it in the chat. It's there in your mind for you to let it out. And that being said, thank you, everybody. I've got 88 people here right now, and blessings to you all. Thank you for being here and sharing this time. And as well, you don't have to be involved in the chat to benefit from this meditation. You just be here and listen is already good enough. And I do, of course, appreciate the chat interaction. It's quite nice. I think everybody else can benefit from the chat interaction too. So thanks for being here. Come back. My daily this daily practice has kind of begun to drift. It's not daily anymore, but it is still on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And I have to give another disclaimer that in this week I'm going to Hong Kong to lead a silent meditation retreat. So that will happen I'll be flying out on Thursday morning, so I'm not going to be able to make my Thursday meditation or 1 week from today, this Saturday meditation, because I'll be over there leading that retreat, and which is pretty engaging. I'm there most hours of the day. So really, with the participants when they're waking up and getting them through their, we've got a morning yoga routine and things like that going on. The retreat, no, let's see. The retreat is it's next week. It's at the end of May. I'm not going on. I don't have my personal retreat for the year scheduled either, so I'm not sure exactly when that's going to happen. So anyway, that's the only retreat I have planned in the near future is the one that I'm doing next week, and that's not me on retreat. That's me leading the retreat. So different, certainly a very different vibe and energy for me, whether I'm leading or a participant. Yeah, thanks Nadine for being here. Great to see you again. Great to have you back, and everybody else. Come back, and as I'm leaving, the mountain meditation is available on Insight Timer. So almost word for word, the meditation that I've just led. You can find the recording there. It's a free track, so check my tracks, and you can get to that. Thanks, Oleg. Thanks, everyone. Okay, let's send our well wishes out to each other. And to ourselves, of course. May I be happy and peaceful. May all of you watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. May all sentient life in the universe and across the world, I wish them all happiness and peace. All right, thanks. Take care, everyone. See you on Tuesday if you want to come back for the parable of the trapeze. Talking more about letting go and transition. Join us then. Bye-bye.